Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Snapshots, where I basically have a chat with a vlogger and a photographer. And this week, I've got a really great guy, good photographer, good vlogger, and his name is Tom O'Neill. So, hello, Tom. How are you?
Hi Gary, how you doing? I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Excellent. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm really good. Getting used to doing this now, so yeah, hopefully it won't be. It'll be a bit smoother than it than it might appear in other videos. So I tell you what we'll do, if it's all right with you, is why don't you just introduce yourself and just give us a real brief overview of your channel.
Yeah, well, I'm Tom O'Neill. I've been a photographer for a long time, and my channel's mostly landscape, waterfalls, and a little bit of portraiture thrown in when I can.
Excellent. So you're based in the northwest, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah,
up near Preston.
Yeah, but you kind of just go everywhere, really, don't you?
I do travel around.
I've seen a lot from Scotland lately, so.
Yeah, I've been targeting Scotland this year mostly because of the book. As you know, I've got two out, England and Wales. I'm now targeting Scotland. Ireland's going to be a tactical nightmare, but yeah, Scotland this year.
Yeah, I can imagine. Right, okay, so you're ready for a few questions?
I am.
Okay, right, so here's your first one, right? When did you start photography?
Well, I picked up my first camera when I was 8 years old. I was living in North Wales. My gran stuffed a camera in my hand and sent me up the mountain. I regularly walked up with my dog, and I had no interest in it whatsoever. But it's when I actually saw those photos printed about a week later that just caught me. I've been doing it since then. Professionally speaking, I started around 18 working as a photographer at a holiday camp, and I moved up to wedding photography over the years, and eventually landscapes and YouTube.
Okay, cool. So I don't really need to ask you why, because you kind of encapsulated the why there. So when did you start YouTube?
I think it was 2017, 2018. I can't remember now. The last 2 years have kind of eliminated everything before it. But yeah, I think it was about 2018 I actually started.
And why? Why YouTube? Why that genre?
I started off like most, watching Thomas Eaton and a few others. And I thought, could I do it? Can I do it? Would I be any good at it? That sort of thing. A few people just talked me into it, give it a try, you never know. And I thought, well, yeah, it'd be a good way to put myself out there. And that's kind of how it springboarded.
Okay.
I've been doing it since.
Okay.
It's become kind of a habit now.
Yeah, well, it does, doesn't it? It does. It
does,
like,
yeah.
You feel like if you're not doing it, you're doing something wrong, or you're missing out on something.
Yeah, it's something that's very hard to give up on, I think. Once you start, it's... yeah, you'll always come back to it, I think.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. For people out there who haven't seen you, right? If there's one video that you could show them of your work that would say, this is me and this is what I'm about, which video would it be?
Ooh. One of the latest videos I just put out, the one at Loch Marie, it's where I actually go kayaking and do a bit of landscape photography with it as well. That's probably, even though the audio ended up bad because it was misaligned, that's one of the best videos I feel I've done because I had the most fun doing that. Getting the kayak out has kind of become a new part of the whole thing. It's become part of the hobby. So, yeah, I'd say that one. And that's a really hard question because I'd struggle to think of any others. It's once I've put a video out, I don't really tend to watch them that much or go back to them. I let my wife do that. She proof watches it.
Do you not go back?
I don't go back and watch them. I watch them initially to make sure everything's right with them. Once they're up on YouTube, I'll give them a watch to make sure they've uploaded properly and all that. But I don't really like watching myself. So after that, I don't tend to go back to it.
Do you know I'm terrible? I go back to mine all the time. All the
You
time. Do? Yeah, it's honestly, I don't know why. Maybe I'm a bit of a narcissist, I guess. I just go back to mine all the time. I can't help myself. I'm like, oh, I'll go and watch what I did 2 years ago. Very sad.
You're not a narcissist. It's a narcissist is a very different thing. Probably obsessive compulsive. You wanting it to be perfect.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right then. So if you could only go back to one location or go to one location, so forever, this is your last opportunity. Where for photography? Where are you going to go to?
Glencoe.
Why?
It's got everything. It's got your rivers, it's got your waterfalls, it's got lochs, it's got mountains, and to be honest, when you're there, it just absolutely takes you away from everything. You just feel it's just you, your camera. All your worries just that they stay at the door, just the other side of Glasgow, and that's it. You're just there in the moment. And to be honest, it never looks the same. You can go and photograph the same thing 2 different days, and it won't look the same. There, it's got its own little weather ecosystem.
I think the light there's the light's different as well, isn't it? That's what I found.
It is.
It's just everything's, even when we went and the light wasn't particularly brilliant, but it's just there's a quality to the light there that seems to be different.
Yeah, there's the way it makes you feel as well. No matter what the environment looks like, it just you're gonna get something. You're always gonna get your camera out and you're gonna get something no matter what, even if you've been there a million times. It's just absolutely. I think it's one of the most perfect locations for landscape photography. Absolutely.
That's a really good shout, I've got to say. All right, so we talked about your favourite locations. So what's your favourite time of year for photography?
I'd say anything after October and up till about March. And it's not so much for the autumnal colours, but it's actually for the lighting. You can photograph longer during the day without harsh lighting. The sun's lower in the sky, so you're going to get that sort of late afternoon look more of the day, which means you can do more. You can shape that light better. So I'd say winter time, sort of anything though in those few months. Yeah, between sort of October and March.
Yeah, it seems like the summer's a bit of a dead loss for us landscape photographers, isn't it?
It can be. I mean, I've always felt that it's what you make it. But there are some occasions, like when I went to Wales with Mark and Nick earlier this year in March, we had, for the first time ever, in the Ogwen Valley and all that area, and I know you've seen it yourself because I remember your video, but it was blue skies and bright sunlight all the way. And because it's the winter time of year, it was very bleak as well, so there's no green to break it up, and that proved very difficult to photograph for all of us. If we're never happy as landscape photographers anyway, are we? But it does get very hard when the light's that harsh. You just have to find something else to photograph. That's kind of why I do waterfalls as well. So they're usually in a gorge, so they're not as bad to photograph in the summer, unless it's dry. That can be a problem.
Unless there's no water, which kind of is a bit awkward. So what would you say again, if you could go back? What's your best experience behind a camera? So what's the best time you've had while out shooting, and also what's the worst time you've had out while shooting?
I don't think I've had a specifically worst time. I mean, I've had a best time, but I think the worst time for any of us is when it's absolutely saturated with rain. I mean, literally so throwing it down that you'd need a waterproof camera to actually even get it out. I think that's the worst time I've ever had. That hasn't happened often because, I mean, cameras these days, they are weather sealed. You can get a jacket for them, but when it's so bad that you just literally, you just don't want to get it out because it's an expensive piece of gear and you've travelled a long way for something, and that's what you find when you that's the worst time I've had. That's only happened to me twice in the last 10 years. One was in Scotland, funnily enough. Surprise with rain in Scotland. But this was a downpour though. I mean, it was somebody might as well have been throwing a bucket of water down. That was bad. But I think the best time I've had, behind the camera, landscape photography wise, it was when I took a photograph of Arlandon Castle up near Rattigan in the Highlands. The sunset was absolutely. I think you've seen the image. The sunset was absolutely. It was perfect. There was no argument. The sunset, you couldn't have asked for better. The cloud coverage was perfect. The reflections, the light, it was all absolutely right there. I literally just got the camera up, took a photograph, and I took the best set of photographs I've ever had without actually really trying. And I think that's the best time I've ever had because the photos, they just came out absolutely fantastic and took very little effort to do it on that particular occasion. I think that's the best time I've had.
I think you can tell, can't you? I think that, like, there's a time when I was at the Lone Tree at Llanberis, and you look on the back of the camera, and you just go, "My God, I've
nailed it."
Yeah, I've nailed it, and it's almost like you get it home, and it's such a light touch with the editing because you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So little work, and it got so much. That particular image got so much attention that I couldn't believe it. It was the first image I ever had that had 16,000 likes on one of the Facebook sites, and that absolutely blew my mind. Yeah. I could have done better with it now, I must admit, because since then my photography skills have enhanced, and they probably will do again in another 10 years. But I mean, if I could go back and take that image again, I would love to do that. I'd love to be in that moment again and just take that image again. If there was anything that I'd love to retake with my current skill set, that'd be it.
In those conditions.
Yeah, if I could go back to that exact moment, exactly as it was, with my current camera and current setup, yeah, I'd be a very happy man.
Okay.
Plus winning the lottery the next day, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, that'd be good. All right, so this is an interesting one for you, right? You've been arrested. Okay, right,
okay.
And the police have said that you can only make one phone call, right? Which photography vlogger are you going to call, and how would you expect them to help you?
What have I been arrested for?
I don't know. I don't delve into your past, mate. So,
crikey. Oh, who would I call? You mean apart from you?
Oh, don't call me, mate. I'm useless.
I'd probably call on Nick Smith. He's a really good mate. He's a nice guy, and if anybody could get me out of the trouble, he'd do it. Because he's so calm and rational. He'd be a good diplomat. Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Tough one, that, wasn't it? Sorry about that.
It was, yeah. I've never been arrested, so...
No. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, yeah. It could happen.
All right, so what's your favourite YouTube channel? Doesn't have to be photography. Can be photography. Doesn't have to be. But what is your favourite YouTube channel to watch?
It actually... I mean, I do have a few, but my absolute favourite, the one that I absolutely love, it's not a photography channel. It's actually an engineering channel. It's called The Hacksmith. He makes various different things from like the Marvel universe and aliens and sci-fi. He's currently making the power loader from Aliens, which is an interesting build. It's been several videos that. He's made an Iron Man suit, which I think's awesome. I want one of those. He's made a lightsaber from Star Wars.
Wow.
He's made it using a plasma cutter, and it's just, I love that channel. The creativity in it. The Hacksmith, yeah.
Okay, that's somewhat worth watching then, I think.
Definitely, yeah. It's got some amazing stuff.
Maybe put a few of our viewers onto that. So that does sound interesting. Well, what about photography wise then?
Photography wise, favourite channel. I'm currently watching a lot of Photo Tripper. I love his sense of humour. Gavin Hardcastle. I absolutely love his sense of humour. And the way he actually mingles that sense of humour with the photography, he's got serious and comedy, and he mixes it so well in a way I can't. I mean, I've I can drop the odd one-liners in now and again, but he seems to literally do it all the time. I know he scripts it, and that's fair enough, but even that takes a lot of creativity to do.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say that's the one that I'm kind of go to a lot at the moment. I think it's the times we're in that's kind of leading me there. We all need a bit of comedy in our lives at the moment, I think.
He does put an awful lot of work into his videos. You can see it in the output.
Yeah.
He puts a lot of work in.
Some people think some people do think he just scoots along and does it, but it doesn't. There is a hell of a lot of work goes into what he puts out, and you can see that in the quality, because you can't put that sort of quality out on the fly. There's no way to do it.
So this is an interesting question, I think. So if you could go back and restart your channel, would you do anything different? And if so, what?
Oh, funnily enough, I actually put a video recently out about the mistakes I made when I started. I think when I first started the channel, I kind of threw the videos together. I think most of us do, to be fair. You know, your video skills pick up just like everything else. But I wish I could go back with the same videography knowledge I have now. The cinematics, the camera movements, the knowledge of the frame rates and all that sort of thing. I wish I could go back and start again with that knowledge and actually be putting out the quality of content that I am now back then. I mean, back then, the first video I ever put out, I had to edit it so much because I worked as an engineer back then, and as you know, all men together were all swearing and all that, and I didn't realise how much I did swear until I actually edited my first video and realised I couldn't use it because there were no actual words in it. Not literally, but I mean, it literally, yeah, that was a learning curve for me. It was like, there was also the sound of my own voice as well. It doesn't sound the same when you're hearing it as it does in your own head, and that was a bit weird. But if I could go back, starting again, and get it right this time, and actually learn from there to improve to a point where I'll probably be in another 5 years, that'd be absolutely awesome.
Yeah, because one thing I get from your channel, and I watch, pretty much all of your videos, you're not afraid to try different things. So it's like, no. The latest thing that I've noticed, apart from this Loch Marie video, which seems to be considerably longer, is that you've gone to a short form of video, almost like sort of 2, 3, 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
These are conscious things, aren't they? They're conscious decisions you make.
I think I'm just sensing something in the wind. It's the way, I mean, ever since TikTok came out with their really short form content, like 1 minute videos, that's actually started becoming more popular. It's actually increased in popularity. Instagram is moving more towards their reels, which again, 1 minute long videos. YouTube has got shorts, which again are supposed to be 1 minute long videos, and I just feel that's the way the content's going, and I'm trying to edge my content to fit in with that, but also put the vlogs that we know and love, the style that we know and love out there as well. The Loch Marie, like you say, is a longer video, but I'm also targeting smaller videos that say, like one waterfall. A waterfall doesn't need a 10-20 minute video. It only needs a description of the waterfall, show of the location, a bit of B-roll, and a little bit of talk of the settings, that sort of thing. It doesn't need half an hour's worth of B-roll in it. It's
unless you.
It speaks. Well, it kind of speaks for itself, though, and I just think that's kind of the way content's going, and I can sort of hear it in the wind. That's the way people are going to sort of lean as time goes on, especially the more short content goes out there, the more it's going to lean that way, I think. Yeah, I want to try and find a balance between the nice long cinematic videos and the smaller straight to the point videos.
Okay, so if you wanted to give out one photography tip, what would that be? Don't
buy into all the gear hype. It's one of the biggest. Well, it's one of the biggest mistakes any photographer makes. It's like, oh, I need this gear, I need this lens, I need that. No, you need to buy what you can afford, and you need to learn to use it, and you just need to get out and use it. Don't get gear envy. I know that's not so much a photography tip, but it's a tip that'll save you a hell of a lot of money.
That's a good tip.
Get the camera you can afford. Spend the money on going places, especially now we can.
Social media.
Yeah.
Right. Blessing or curse, and why?
Both. It is a blessing because it gets you out there. I mean, it gets your content out there, it gets people seeing you, it gets people moving towards you, whatever your product is, not just photography, but whatever your line is, it gets people noticing you. Curse, because there's just too many keyboard warriors out there who want to ruin it for the people that they're just not as good as. You get it in every in every forum, not just photography, but there's always somebody who thinks they know better. Or, I mean, let's take photography for example. There's so many people out there who hate editing, and they're like, oh, I get it all right in camera. I do it with film, and I do it this way, and I do it this way, and that's the right way to. Well, the fact of the matter is, you don't like editing, but if you're shooting on a film, you're making a conscious choice of how that image is going to look anyway, by your choice of film. So you're editing to start with. And it's those people, they ruin it for everybody. And that can be a very negative aspect of social media. It can even cause depression, suicide, and all sorts of other things that, I mean, we don't want to go into it because we don't want to bring the situation down. But it can be as dangerous as it can be as good as it can be good.
So talking about photography and talking about photos, I think I know the answer to this. I think I know the answer that everyone's going to give me to this. But do you take photos for you, or do you take photos for others?
A bit of both. The ones that generally make it onto YouTube and social media, they're the ones that are for others. The ones that I keep to myself, that are basically portfolio pieces, if you will, they're for me. They're the ones that I want. Some of them do make it onto YouTube and onto social media, but for the most part, I don't put them out there because that's mine. That it's like the iconic sunset of the Lone Tree. I have got a really good shot of that. That's actually for me. That was taken several years back. I've got shots of that were taken on the channel, as you know. But yeah, the really special ones that I've put a lot of thought into, the iconic locations, the ones that are special to me in front, they're for me personally. And whatever goes on social media, that's for other people.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you have a series of photos that you just don't share with anyone. You've just taken them and you keep them for yourself and family, I assume, but you don't share them.
I've got about 50. There's about 50 shots that I've taken over the last 15 years of various things that they really are the top end, best I can do. Absolutely, everything's gone into them, and yeah, if they got on social media, they could be nicked or whatever, and they're also the ones that I actually feel something for. So if I got somebody thumbs down in it or saying, well, that's that, you know, it's no good, that you've not done a very good job with that one, blah blah, that'd bother me. The ones that I just put out, I don't care what people think about them. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's not going to impact me emotionally. I'll just learn from it. But yeah, the ones I've actually put a lot of work into and gone back to a location 3 or 4, 5, 6, whatever amount of times to get the shot I want, they bother me.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. I totally assumed you weren't going to give that answer. So that's fascinating to know that there are. So they mean so much to you that you just don't want to let them out.
They're the ones that I wouldn't want criticism on.
Okay.
They're the ones that, I mean, the location might mean something to me, or the amount of work that went into the image, or whatever. They're the ones that really if anything's going to work, that's going to work. Yeah. But there's not many of them. There's only about 50, something like that.
Yeah. That's really interesting, though. That's a really interesting little insight there. So, yeah, fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. How about we move away a little bit again from photography. Okay. What's your favourite... I hate asking this question because I think people don't want to hear it because it's like, well, I don't know. But what's your favourite 3 songs? Your favourite 3 songs at this current moment in time? Because I know it changes. So, but if you were like, Desert Island Discs, you could only hear 3 songs again. Which 3 would they be?
Well, one's definitely got to be Status Quo, Rocking All Over the World. That's a hell of a song. It's one of the first Status Quo songs I heard. It reminds me of an uncle who meant a great deal to me. Because he was totally a Status Quo fan. He even had the leather studded jacket with Status Quo written on the back. So yeah, that's one. There's one by Kid Rock. I forget the name, but it's that one. It's where part of the lyrics is singing "Sweet Home Alabama" all summer long.
That's All Summer Long. It's called All Summer Long.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I love that song. It's got a really jolly, really nice vibe to it. Mm-hmm. And I think Lady in Red, Chris de Burgh.
Okay.
There are reasons for that.
I was going to say, I wasn't expecting that.
There's reasons.
Okay. Not going to ask.
No.
Oh dear.
They'd be the 3. I mean, there's a few more, but they'd be the 3 that, yeah, they've all got some meaning.
It's weird, because when I think about that question, I always think, what are the longest ones I know? Because I'm like, because imagine you said, right, I'll have song 2 by Blur, which is about 2 minutes long. You just have to listen to it over and over and over again. So I'm going to pick like, I'm trying to think, I'm going to pick like Bohemian Rhapsody or something like The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden, which is like 14 minutes long. I'm going for those.
Well, my logic is that if I was stuck on a desert island and they were my only 3 songs, I'd want ones that are going to engender an emotional feeling. So
yeah.
It's all the emotions would keep you going longer than the song would.
True. It's all a moot point anyway because you'd run out of battery, wouldn't you? So So all right, we'll finish off now with what would be your dream piece of photography kit? So you anything you want. Literally anything. So photography, videography, what would be your dream piece of kit? Money, no object.
Money, no object. Hasselblad.
Yeah.
One of the top end ones. The medium format. It used to be the H60, but I mean I think they've surpassed that now. But yeah, one of the big medium format. The top end one. I think it's about £60,000-70,000. And the set of lenses for the things I do, that would be absolutely fantastic. It would have to be money, no objects. I think you'd be looking about 100,000 altogether, which, most people would think, well, that'd buy a house. You'd be carrying a house around in your camera bag, but my God, what a camera. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's well out of reach, but it'd be awesome.
Well, it's a dream. When you win the lottery, like you said, you never know. So.
Yeah, if that happens, I'll probably buy 2 of them.
Yeah.
In case one gets nicked.
I will ask you one more, actually, because I know you do a lot of different genres of photography.
Yeah.
I know you sort of do a bit of portrait. Obviously, you do your wedding stuff. You do landscape. I haven't seen any wildlife, I don't think, from you.
I've tried my hand at wildlife, but I have absolutely no luck.
Yeah.
Every time I point my camera at a bird or an animal, it goes the other way. It just looks and goes, I'm going. To give you one example, I was at a place near me, Tatton Park. There's a deer park there. And I was waiting for the perfect shot, there's a shot looking through the woods over the lake. And I was waiting for a stag just to come there, look my way, so I could snap that shot of it. And I did eventually get a shot of it. Not the one I wanted, but yeah. But the problem is that they were all behind me. To cut a long story short, it was rutting season. It was like And I'm waiting for this shot here, and all the action's going on over here, and I'm like, see, I don't have any luck with wildlife.
But what I was going to actually ask about that was, what genre, if you like, which one does it more for you? Which of those genres of photography does it more for you?
It is the landscape photography. You can lose yourself in that a lot more. You're on your own. Outside, you can, if you've got thoughts going through your mind, you can organise them better. If you've got thoughts you want to get rid of, you can let them go. Yeah, being out there in the landscape does take everything away. Makes you feel a lot better. It's also helps you focus more as well. You've got nothing going on in your mind. No outside influences or anything like that. It's just you, your camera, the landscape. You just enjoy it. Yeah, it's landscape. That's what I'd miss if I couldn't do it anymore.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thanks. I mean, I've run out of questions, so big thanks to Tom. Really enjoyed that. And if you guys want to follow his channel, I'll put a link in the description. I've been watching him. I've been watching Tom for years now. So you know, I always you're one of the few. There's not loads of guys I tune into, but you're one of the few that I tune into. So
yeah, likewise, mate. Likewise.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you coming on and having a chat with me, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
So, and you know, we'll have to get together at some point, won't we? And
definitely, you're still going to take me through street photography. So when we can actually get out into the streets again properly, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. I'll make some time, because there's some excellent places in Manchester actually. The northern quarter in Manchester is really ripe for a bit of good street photography. So
yeah,
we'll sort some out in the not too distant future. So yeah,
just let me know when you're ready. Yeah,
I will do, mate. So thank you ever so much. Anyway, I really appreciate you coming on, and thank you guys for watching. And if you've got any questions or you want to make any comments, please feel free to stick them below. And I'm sure Tom will answer questions that you've got as well, you know, in the comments if you're interested. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, Tom, for coming on. And cheerio, bye bye.